Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to welcome you all to our Dext training session for today. Getting started with Dext, getting you set up for effortless bookkeeping. My name is Stephen Darling, and I'm a Customer Success Manager with the Dext Canada team. In this session, we're going to cover the key workflows and best places to begin when getting started with setting up your Dext account. Our agenda for what we're going to be covering today is first, we're going to learn how to add a client to your Dext account. Then, we'll set up the client's account and integrate it with their accounting software, be it QuickBooks, Xero, Sage. We'll then see the different methods for how to submit your cost and sales items into Dext, at which point we'll then be able to review and edit any of the documents that have been submitted before exporting to the accounting software. And finally, we'll go over how to make use of our bank space with our bank statement extraction tool. And lastly, adding as well as editing any additional users to your practice or client accounts. First, I would like to mention some of the typical workflows so you can understand how Dext fits into the mix. You are likely receiving a lot of information to process from your clients on a daily, weekly, and monthly basis. Sometimes this is probably quarterly as well. I'm sure you have some clients that happens only once a year. You also likely have to source all these different records from various online portals, paper statements, invoices, PDFs, bank statements, and even intricate spreadsheets. This is where Dext comes in to assist and streamline the flow of these records into your accounting or bookkeeping software. Dext is a powerful tool that you can leverage to assist with sourcing, processing, and summarizing all of that information for your clients so that you can offer your bookkeeping, tax, and other account services in a more timely and efficient as well as accurate manner. We're now going to move into our Dext account to show you how you can get started setting up your Dext account for your practice and your clients. So this is what you can expect to see when you log into Dext. This is our client page. So from here, you'll be able to view any of your clients, active clients, set favorites, and other items. But to add a new client, you can see I'm going to navigate here to the right hand side where we go to add a client. So first step would be to add the client's name. Let's call it construction. So from here you'll be able to add in the client's name, add in a practice code if you have it, and then you can select the industry. So I'm going to select construction. Then we'll be able to continue. Now, within your practice, you'll then be able to choose which users or colleagues have access to the client. So you can toggle on for all, or if you don't want it to be all, you can select key users. So for our time being, why don't I choose myself as well as a couple other users. Next, you can assign different account managers who will be able to manage and make any changes to the account. You can toggle on the account users that all have access. And then finally, what you'll be able to do is invite a particular user to the practice. So this way they'll be able to upload their financial information into Dext, receive any messages within the app, and see any business transactions. Now, you aren't required to send the invite to the users at this stage. We will cover that in detail. If you did have a user you wanted to add to the client account, you could enter their information here at this stage and send it either as an email or a text message. But for our purposes, we're just going to actually skip the invitation right now. So this will then add the client in. As you can see, we now have a new client added. So one of the first things to do when adding in a new client, be first selecting the client. This is going to bring us to our different workspaces where we have our cost inbox, sales, and bank space. To begin using these though, we're going to actually first navigate to our business settings. So your business settings are where you're going to find some of the settings as well as connections for each of your clients. So first I'm going to actually come to our connections section here. And this is where you'd actually set up and connect your accounting software, as well as any other cost connectors, which we'll cover in a little bit of time. Now, to connect your accounting software, first you're going to go to choose from our many different options. And then when you choose to connect, it's going to bring you to a portal, in which case you'll be able to verify and sign in. So if you have your two-factor authentication set up, you could set that up and then continue logging into the system, at which point this will start to integrate some of your lists, customers, vendors, and other category information into your accounting software, into Dext. So I'm going to actually show you how to navigate. I'm going to switch to a different company that already has this connected. As you can see here, I'm just going to go back to the business settings and connections. Now, this is where the client has been added and it's been connected. So when you go to manage, this is where you'll be able to set any general settings as well as your tax settings and publishing settings for the client. As you can see here, we have the default for where to publish items set as a bill. Now you can also change this for paid items to cash, check, credit card. If most of the items that are coming into your cost workspace are going to be unpaid, it's typical that you'd see the bill as selected for the default. You can also set your sales items as a sales invoice. You also have the ability to toggle on and have the system warn you if there's a duplicate supplier, so that you're not having to risk having any duplicates that you'll later have to merge. Should you need to have tax settings turned on, you can do that from these settings. Now from here, you'll be able to choose your particular combination as well, and then map these out where you'd like to see the items go. So your sales may go to, let's say, your HST account for Ontario. Default as well. You can have that set up, and for your exempt items. You also have the ability to turn on auto publishing. Now this can actually be done at a supplier level, so we typically don't recommend setting it so that all items are published immediately, but you will have the ability to omit some of these items in the future. But that would be how you can begin kind of setting up some of your settings. Now I'm just going to go back to our cost workspace. So this is where you're going to edit and change any of the documents that you have been submitted into Dext. But first, let's cover how to actually add documents. So you have a few different submission methods, to be able to submit documents into Dext. First off, you're going to have your traditional kind of drag and drop. Here you'll be able to select different documents that are stored on your computer and then select the files and bring them into Dext for extraction. Now you have a few different submission methods. If you just have one page, you'd be able to choose the one document per file. From there, you could also choose to update the information with a one document per page. So if you have multiple, you can scan these together. And finally, we have auto splitting is available. What this will do, it allows Dext to segment your different invoices within a scanned settings, and it'll properly identify the different invoice amounts. So if there is a invoice that's 2 pages and then 5 pages and 7 pages, you can scan them all together and Dext will be able to separate and identify them as separate documents. That'd be one way of submitting items into your system. Next, we have Invoice Fetch. So Invoice Fetch allows you to actually connect through to a supplier so that the system will actually pull those invoices in on a weekly basis so that you're not having to go and look for the invoices. So let's say that you have a utility bill that you'd like to connect. If I go to connect, you have the ability to choose who will be the person that is connecting to this. So you can choose the owner for who will be assigned documents that come in. This will bring you to a page where you'll be able to log in to your portal account as well, bring in any available information, or if you want to set a timeline as to what you'd like to be brought in for the account, you can set that here. And then Dext will periodically, on a weekly basis, pull any new invoices into the system. As well, if you do need to have items in at a more timely manner, you can actually force a connection once it's actually been established. While I'm on this page, another connection that you could make for uploading documents is through Dropbox. So by connecting your Dropbox account, this will actually allow Dext to submit items into the profile, and that way you're not having to upload them. They will come in from the created file folders that the integration creates. But that would be the next submission method for adding a connection. Just going to head back to the cost workspace now. So again, as you can see, these are some of the items that have already been added. Now, another method for uploading and adding items in would be through email. So emailing items in, let's say that you have invoices that you receive from some suppliers or some invoices in your email application right now. You don't need to print them out or send them through traditional mail. Instead, you can easily forward them into Dext so that you can access the items. You can set this through your email in address that each user is assigned. Now, this can be edited and changed as the system will automatically assign the email in address based off of the first and last name of the user as well as the company. Now, that can actually be changed. As you can see here, my extract email settings, I can come in and I can actually update the information, and then this will allow you to have a more simplified and easy method for changing the items so that you can provide a simpler, easier access to the emailing items in. Now, if you do have those invoices already sitting in your email out application, you can actually save the addresses as a contact so you won't have to search or copy the emails in the future. You may also want to consider applying an auto forwarding rule just to ensure that no invoices are missed if they're available in Dext, if you'd like them available in Dext in a timely manner. This is beneficial if you receive multiple invoices regularly from several suppliers. You don't need to set that up directly in your email each time. You can set it up in the application as an auto forwarding rule, such as Gmail, Outlook, etc., to set that up. And then finally, you can use our mobile app. You can actually download the app and take pictures and actually scan the documents directly from your phone. I'll show you how to do that now. So, when it comes to using the mobile app, now that we've spent a little bit of time showcasing what Dext looks like on the web, we're now going to look at the mobile app. So in looking at the app in more detail, you're probably going to see this as one of the easiest ways that your clients and your teams can submit their receipts, invoices, or PDFs to Dext. This will mean that you don't have to have them keep them in a shoebox, or you can find the time to spend on more value-added activities rather than just dropping them off at key times. So you can take a picture, you can start sending items in quicker without having to save the receipts any longer. So this is actually what the view looks like for the app on an iOS device, and this is what you can expect to see on Android. Now, something to note, when you do send the invitations out to users to set up their Dext accounts, you can send it as the email or as a text message, or if you'd like, both. If you send the email notification, users can click on the link to finish creating their accounts. This will open a page for them to assign their own password, as you've already created the username and it's been pre-filled from the invite itself. Once that's been set up, the password, they're ready to begin accessing their account. If instead or additionally you send it as a text message, they will be prompted to download from the link and finish creating their account, first choosing their password before they access their account from the app. Again, if you invite your team and users through text message, they'll be prompted to download the mobile app as part of that step. If you do send the invite not through text, they still can go to the App Store of their device to download and access the app. This is what users can expect to see on an iOS device. So they'll only have to go to the store, enter in their credentials once they've downloaded the app, and then they'll be able to access their account. If they are an Android user, they are able to also download the app from the Google Play Store, again, just needing to fill in their credentials and password before they're able to access the account. You can do that by searching Dext, and then they can download it from the store. Now, when you first log into the mobile app, you're going to see the inbox. So this is going to show you the receipts and any invoices that have already been submitted, as well as the supplier date, amount, and the current status should also be visible and displayed. Now, when it comes to adding new documents to your Dext account using the app, you can do this using the camera. So users can easily take or upload a picture or pictures to submit documents for Dext to extraction. Now, when taking pictures, you have a few options to choose from. First, using single mode, like the example showed here. If you have just one receipt or you need to take a picture, you can use single mode, and that will take a picture before you submit. As a second option, you could use multiple mode. Multiple mode is useful if you have a stack or several receipts that you need to upload. Let's say that you have a set of 5 gas receipts from a trip. Rather than submitting them each individually, you can switch between to multiple mode, take pictures of them all, and then when you submit them, they will be batched together, saving you from having to submit each of them individually. And then finally, you have combine mode. Just note that this is different than multiple mode. Combine mode is used if you have several pages for the same item or receipt. This allows you to add multiple pages rather than zooming out to fit everything in one picture, as the system can automatically combine the pages to form one document when you submit it. You can also upload PDFs through the mobile app now. So on iOS, this is done through the gallery option only. On Android, you can actually do this through the gallery option, or you can navigate to Files, select the PDF you want to upload, and then click Share. Finally, once you've actually taken and uploaded the photo or PDF, you will be able to add in additional information. So, when the picture has been captured and you'll then have the opportunity to edit or add in any additional information, including a description, perhaps explaining what the expense is for, assign a category, or choose a customer. This information is not required to be filled out at this step, and depending upon your preference or a conversation you'd like to have with each client, you may only require them to take a picture and then you'll take care of the rest. But if you have any specific information or details you'd like them to add, it may be useful for you to get them to highlight that at this step. Now, once the information has been submitted to the cost workspace, users will have the opportunity to further update or edit any additional information. So after the image has been submitted, the extraction is finished, you'll then be available in the cost workspace. So from here, users can go to the inbox and they can select any of the documents. Then from here, it'll open up the image. They can hover over that and they can change any items and they can expand the item details to to see further information such as supplier, maybe owned by details, currency, or even tax amounts if they need to be altered. Similarly, this is the view from the Android inbox. You can see that you can select the document, expand, and then review and edit any of the details that came through from the extraction. So now I'm going to jump back to the web account just so I can show you how to edit some of those cost or sales items for your practice or your client accounts from the web application as well. So as you can see, we have a few items here in the inbox. So if we were to select an item, it's going to bring up an image on the side, but as well, you're probably going to also notice some of the details here along the right-hand column, pardon me. So in here, you're going to be able to identify the document owner, the type of invoice, date, any other settings. As well, you'll be able to set different rules based off the supplier. So you can actually set supplier rules directly from here. Now these are ways of automating and having the system auto-assign key things for any suppliers that you have a lot of duplicate transactions that are going to be posted to the same area. Perhaps you have a key customer, or you want to set it as a set due date and setting different rules. You can create smart rules that apply as well. So rather than having to edit and break out separate line items, you can have it set so that there's either a fixed amount or a percentage added, or a combination of the two. If you don't need to have that set as a rule, you can actually come down and edit the line items before publishing. So from here, as you can see, you can add in additional line items, add more description, and assign multiple categories if you do need to break this out or separate any of the amounts. You can apply different tax rates, quantities, and make any changes that need to be done. If, for example, the item it was an employee reimbursable expense, you can actually then add this to an expense claim. So you can add it to an existing claim, or you can add it to a new claim, filling out the steps and the dates. As you can see here, I have a expense claim already here. So I can now move and add this to it, and it'll be moved from the cost workspace to your expense claims. So in here, you'll be able to see the item. This was that item. And you can then review and edit the items from here. If you do need to remove this because it was improperly assigned, you can actually just remove that from the item and it'll be returned to the cost workspace. See, it's been returned. The supplier list that came in from your integration will be brought in. Now this came in after that integration step that we had followed. This is a great space for you to come in and review any settings, make any of those updates, or set any of those rules that we had shown in the previous screen. Makes it a little bit quicker. You can also come in and see which suppliers have items in as well, which that don't. And if you want to adjust any of your table settings of what you would like to change, you can make those changes here. Or you can drill into each of the suppliers and change them as need be. The sales inbox as well. This is going to be where your sales documents are housed should you use that workspace. And you can then manage your customers and set a few of the rules for these, such as currency, description, and adding any smart split rules that you would need to assign to different or multiple categories. Lastly, I wanted to cover the bank space. So whether you're using bank feeds or using our bank statement extraction tool, I'll show you how to do that now. So if you do decide to connect a bank feed, you will be able to view the transactions. But if you do have some statements or some items that are perhaps unavailable as a result of the bank feed, you can actually collect and scan your bank statements from here. So you can actually go to add documents and upload those files here. That way, if you are missing that link or you would later like to export them to a CSV to review and edit, you can do that. You can do that from the Add Document space. As you can see here, we have our costs that we covered earlier. And then this is where you'll be able to upload the banks and then add the appropriate bank that you're going to be looking at adding. From here, when reviewing the transactions, you'll have the ability to export, or if you're able to identify key items that perhaps are missing paperwork, you can actually then send a request for the different items to a particular user with any notes you have so that they can then update. You can also export it as a CSV or a PDF if you so choose. That would be how to add the bank space. Lastly, as you do have users added to the account, you can come in and manage or change any of these items. You can add in a new user, at which stage you can add in their account. So let's say we are adding in a new user. If you do want to grant them access at the stage, you can then put in their information. Then you'll be able to choose the different roles. So a basic user, this role will allow users to submit as well as view any of their items that they have been tagged in and change some of their personal settings. If you'd like, you can also give them the ability to create their own expense claims, which they can be reimbursed. You can then also decide whether or not they have the ability to publish to the accounting software, or if you'd like to remain limited in that. Expense approver is an additional role that you could assign. From here, users will be able to submit and view other team members' items, as well create any expense claims and their personal settings. Once again, you can limit their ability to publish to the accounting software, this giving them visibility within the space, but without having to worry about the sessions. Finally, you have your administrator approval. Here they'll be able to add and submit any documents that you need and set any automation rules for the system. This is true whether you are working in your client or if you're actually working within your own team. The permission levels are very similar rather. In here, under your team account, if we go back to the main page, you will see these are your team members rather than users. In here, you would be able to set locations, see what colleagues are activated, and if you were to add a colleague here, you'd be able to follow these similar steps, adding in their information and inviting them. Okay, great. So, what we covered today, we actually were able to show you how to add and invite your clients to your Dext account, set up your clients' accounts with the accounting software and able to integrate that. We went over different submission methods for adding your cost and sales items into Dext, as well how to review and edit cost items both within the app and the web application in addition to the mobile app. And then we looked at the bank space and went over how to extract bank statements when you don't have a bank feed available. We also lastly covered how to add additional users to the practice and your client accounts. So you can now get started right away with what we learned today. The best place to begin, is with adding in your clients and then integrating with the accounting software before inviting them to Dext. You can also begin adding documents into the Dext account through any of the methods that we covered today. And finally, you may want to register for our Mastering Dext session, where we go over some additional best practices, as well as tips and methods to assist with mastering Dext and just getting the most out of your experience. One more thing. If you are looking to gain any additional confidence or understanding of the system, you can attend one of our additional interactive training sessions where we share best practices with you, your team, but as well your clients. Whether your clients are new to Dext, new to your practice, or new to our new enhanced layout and design changes, we offer a few additional sessions that you may want to join. These are great if you want to ensure just you're getting the most out of Dext. Lastly, so our basic essentials training is offered Mondays and Thursdays at 2 p.m. We offer a more advanced Mastering Dext training session on Tuesdays at 2 p.m. Eastern. Our client-focused Getting Started with Dext for Clients training sessions are offered Wednesdays and Fridays at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And as well, we are now offering an enhanced client training where we go over some of the design changes that we've recently made, and that is offered Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays at 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, please type them in the questions section at the bottom. If you haven't already, we will answer them live now. If you don't have any questions, you can always email our support team at support.dext.com or search for any of our help articles at help.dext.com. Thank you, everyone.